Sega's flagship franchise, Sonic the Hedgehog, since the beginning, has always prided itself on being the alternative. Sonic was never afraid to take daring new steps that could potentially redefine the series as a whole. Sega never shied away from releasing an add-on or announcing a console too soon or making people do a double take and say, "That's Sonic now?" There was always an ambition with Sega, and thus there was always an ambition with Sonic. But as they dropped out of the console race, that ambition mutated into just rushing headfirst into a project and going all out for it. This is not a bad thing to do, and Sonic always loved showing off. 12 playable characters in one game? Redefining a character? For the first time, shockingly amazing graphics, and the list goes on and on. But for all these ambitious ideas some would find admirable, what was less than admirable was the quality of the games themselves. After literally and metaphorically getting shot in the back, Sonic the Hedgehog was nothing more than dead. But enough is enough. Sonic is basically half of Sega's income. If Sega wants to stay afloat, Sonic has to be his best self. He needs some redefining, some smoothing, some softer edges. He needs to stop changing designs. He needs to be perfect, always smiling, always consistent. Sonic needed to be a mascot again. And that mascot needed consistency. The 2000s were over. The year is 2010, and Sonic was going to make a splash. Somehow, some way. Critics and fans alike argued at the time that the 2000s were the dark age of Sonic. Nowadays, Sonic fans disagree and say that the 2010s were the worst years for Sonic's history. The true dark age. And the 2020s are off to a weird start for Sonic. A long silence, a successful movie, and little to no merchandise or news on new games. So what do I think of the 2010s for Sonic the Hedgehog? As someone who was not an angry adult during this era, but was rather a young teenager growing into an adult, this era was significantly important to me. So let's talk hedgehogs. The last true game of the last decade was Sonic and the Black Knight, where Sonic is whisked into medieval times wielding a sword and defeating this guy who's not Eggman and hanging out with this anime chick who turns out to be more than she seems. An on-rails game where Sonic is constantly moving, the player's only way to play the game is to tilt and thrust the Wiimote forward. Good characterization, rockin' music, sucky gameplay, passable graphics. Overall, nothing to be remembered, and a departure from anything Sonic was ever supposed to be. After that, the signs were already being shown. Sonic was changing somehow. Right now, in 2009, he sucked, but he didn't seem to be a rotting corpse like he had been the last couple times. Promo art looked really nice. Toy lines were getting attention. The character's design was looking more and more refined. Sega had something planned. In my eyes, this was a redesign. Now, not a crazy redesign, more so redefining the character. Sonic wasn't appealing to anyone besides Sonic fans the last 10 years. He needed to be reshaped to get a wider audience. Just recently, he hung out with Mario at the Olympics. This was a changing point for a number of reasons, but from a company standpoint, it was monumental. The GameCube and Wii were getting Nintendo kids into Sonic, and while he kept showing up in Mario games, nothing really defined him. Unleashed on the Wii was a downgrade from the HD version, missing elements and even levels, making kids playing that game feel like they are playing a lesser version. Secret Rings was just too weird to get into because it wasn't what Sonic was all about. If Sega was to move forward with the character had to appeal to a lot of people. He needed to be marketable again. No more 2D illustrations, Sonic is a video game character. No more cool, edgy grin. Sonic needs to be softer, cuter, a face you would want on a t-shirt. Let's make his spikes less sharp, his gloves bigger and more cartoony, His shoes less detailed but fun and cartoon-like and looking the same as they always did for the most part. Let's redefine his render. Instead of making him extra fuzzy, let's make him look smooth, clean, a shine in those eyes. Make sure the character translates well into products. Let's make him look like the Mario renders from that era. It was 2010. The Wii was doing great and Mario was rocking it. Notice how his hair doesn't have hair details, but was just smooth, like Sonic's spikes. Notice how Mario's renders weren't depicting him in any crazy poses or almost interrogating the viewer with any essence of attitude. No, he was standing, jumping, looking professional, and clean. Sonic was redefined. Now, there is nothing wrong with keeping your style consistent. The last few games, Sonic was looking more and more different with every iteration. He needed to be the same. Consistency was needed in the aesthetic of Sonic. Mario and Nintendo understood this. To appeal to a wide margin of people is a fantastic idea, it means more profit. However, in Sega's case, the more focused Sonic became, almost seemed to make Sega lose focus of who Sonic was. Now, Sega had a lot of work to do. They were coming off the heels of 10 years of fans mostly enjoying their content, but critics destroying it. So we have to start small, show glimmers of hope, build up, and bring back the attention of fans. We start small, and do what every mascot should do. Sonic was back. This time he wasn't turning into a werewolf, he wasn't wielding swords, and there were no guns of any kind. He was just Sonic. A character on a screen, so right off the bat there was not much to critique. Sonic was back with his old friends, Beat, Knights, Ii, and many other Sega characters, and a brand new kart racing game. Sonic tried this before, twice. Pretty badly both times. So let's do it right. Now, instead of trying to switch up the formula, trying to get new gamers to understand a new gameplay style, like Sonic Riders tried to, let's keep it simple. Think Mario Kart. There are items that help you and affect other racers. There are different tracks to choose from. Everyone's in a car so as to not to appear weird in a racing game, and most of all, the gameplay feels great. Controlling the car feels natural, with an equally rewarding drift mechanic that really gets you feeling like you have complete control of your character. It was nice to see some old faces again, nice to see older stuff reimagined with better graphics. Playing the game was fun. Not bad, Sega. Not bad. For the first time in quite some time, a console game with Sonic on the cover got a pretty nice review. Not amazing or game-changing, but perfectly fine. Completely inoffensive. Just a fun time. So good start. The 2010s already look interesting. Sonic did fine. There is a cautious optimism in the video game world. Sonic was acting more like a mascot and less like a teenager in high school changing their wardrobe every few weeks. Professional was the word. Solid, fine. But this isn't enough. A true Sonic game, not a racing game. But what defines a true Sonic game? For the last few years, critics left and right were blasting Sonic, complaining about too many different gameplay styles and not enough focus, and way too many characters. Forget Knuckles and his treasure hunting. When I play Sonic, I want to go fast.
I don't need Knuckles whacking the crap out of robots. I don't need Tails flying from platform to platform. And I certainly don't need to stop, push a lever, and stand there waiting for the door to open before I can get back to the fun, running around part.
Critics were saying that Sonic was best in his 2D days because the 3D games were just too difficult to comprehend with varying degrees of success. Stop putting Sonic in world-ending scenarios, just have him jump on cartoon robots. Who's this guy? What happened to Dr. Eggman? Oh, excuse me, Robotnik, because that name is more sinister, cooler. It's what I grew up with. Give us that Sonic back. Oh, but you'd never, Sega. You'd never give us that Sonic back. For 10 years now, he kept changing and changing. You do not even reference the classic artwork anymore. You don't even reference Green Hill. It's all beaches and stuff now. Eggman is no longer the enemy. Everything that Sonic was built upon was the past. We need to look forward to the future. But at the root of it all What was a true Sonic game? Well, judging by the last 10 years of scathing reviews, not edgy, not cool, no guns, no talking, no swords, no hundreds of characters. Just Sonic, Eggman, surreal and cartoony landscapes, and speed. And you just don't seem to get that. Whoa, what was that? What could this be? Just rings? A speedy blue boy and something new? Built from the ground up? What is that silhouette? Pikachu in a sombrero? Maybe. But wait. No. The original title screen. The thing that started everything. So what? Is this another port? No, it can't be. You said it's new. Oh my god. Sega listened to the fans, to the critics. Sonic is going back to his roots. Who ever would think that this would ever exist? And here we are, Sonic the Hedgehog 4, Episode 1. An episodic continuation of arguably the best classic Sonic game, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Oh, being a fan on the internet during this era was insane. Left and right, you would have older fans freaking out and getting furious that Sega would dare put this Sonic, this lanky, green-eyed Sonic, the Sonic that nearly killed the whole series, into this classic game. But then you had people exhilarated that classic Sonic gameplay was back. That was the true Sonic. 2D, speed, Eggman as the villain. When the game released in the early fall of 2010, I sat there patiently, getting up at 5 in the morning waiting for the Nintendo eShop to just update already, so I could buy Sonic 4. I had waited months for this. The fans had waited years for this. For the first time in a long time, this actually looked like a fun Sonic game, from start to finish. I was 11 or 12 at the time, so I wasn't very good at games. It took me 2 months to beat, but I beat it. My consensus? This was fun. This was fine. This was exactly what Sonic needed at the time. Something safe, but still ambitious. You could make a 2D Sonic game and throw it on the DS, but to name it Sonic 4? Ooh, that's ambitious. That's the Sega I know. Going headfirst into something, not fully knowing if it would even work. But they tried. The game was rough around the edges. Sonic stuck to walls, and level design was sometimes unfair. And no two-player mode, really? Where's Tails? Well, we all said we didn't want Sonic's annoying friends anymore, so okay, I'll let it slide. This is fine. I had a fun time playing it, but it didn't do anything new. It didn't continue the story of the classic games, and the levels were just reimaginings of the levels from Sonic 1 and 2. I want to say it's lazy, but no, it's okay to play it safe right now. You don't want to be too ambitious, right, Sega? And the game was reviewed. And it did fine. It wasn't a complete mess. It wasn't a 40% or something. This is above average. Sonic was finally above average. He was growing. And the score was around the same score the racing game got. Sega, awesome job. Let's keep this up. Oh, wait, that's right. Another game is coming out soon. Oh, no. No. Sega, come on. It's a 3D game? I thought we gave up on 3D. It was bad. You never had a good one. You just made a classic 2D game, just like New Super Mario Bros. Or Donkey Kong Country, or... Oh, wait. Yeah, that was a trend. Yes, in the early 2010s, thanks in part to New Super Mario Bros. On the Wii, video game mascots were styling their games after the old ones and giving them a fresh coat of paint, making them look new in 3D, but still a 2D game. And each time it was working. And for Sonic, it worked. Just like the kart racer, Sonic was doing what the other mascots were doing. And he did it well. This is just like the Mario I used to know. This is just like the Donkey Kong I used to know. And this is just like the Sonic I used to know. But 3D? Well, the kids can play that stupid kiddie Sonic game. Us cooler, older, more experienced players can play this true Sonic game. Except we didn't. Everyone, fans old and young, critics, Nintendo fans, they all turned their eyes to Sonic Colors. November 16th is a date that I will never forget. As a young teenager who never really enjoyed those shooting fest games or those racing or fighting games and preferred the fun of platformers, this was the first time in my life I was ever truly hyped for a video game. This was 3D Sonic, the Sonic that I grew up with. And he wasn't doing anything stupid or weird. In fact, it's almost as if Sega took the design idea of a 2D game and just made it 3D. No swords, no guns, no different gameplay styles. Just Sonic running ahead and jumping on robots with cute scenery. Oh my gosh, it was like a dream. And the best part was it played like Unleashed. And I loved the daytime levels in Unleashed. I'd play them over and over. I pre-ordered the game in July. And for the next few months I kept focus on new developments, new screenshots, new trailers, new footage, anything that had to do with this game. I went on a vacation with my family during that summer, hyping up for Sonic Colors, and for the first time ever, I saw a Sonic ice cream when we went to the fair. I kept that wrapper. After a full day of being outside, my family wanted to spend the next day of our vacation inside at a giant mall. And there was this Sonic plush. He looked classic in proportion, but modern in design, kind of like what Sonic Colors was trying to do. My dad bought it for me, and the plush sat next to me in the car, and he even had his own chair at the hotel. I loved this thing. And when I pre-ordered Sonic Colors, I got a Sonic hat. Look at me! I wore this hat! Only when no one was looking. Happy to kinda, in a way, feel like this character. At this point in my life, things were only going up. Things seemed to get better and better, and the same was happening for Sonic. I beat Sonic Colors in 2 months, just like Sonic 4. I loved it. I instantly declared it not just my favorite Sonic game, but my favorite game ever, of all time. And I'd replay it, and replay it, and replay it, and the reviews, look at that! And the graphics really pushed the Wii to its limits, and the music was great. And my friends at the time, who only cared about Call of Duty and stuff, played Sonic Colors when they came to my house, and they liked it too. They liked how it wasn't too difficult. It was kind of like Mario, it made it easier. That winter, my Call of Duty playing friend asked for Sonic Colors for Christmas. My other friend, who only liked Mario and nothing more, wanted Sonic Colors. I loved Sonic's design in the game, and I thought the comedic writing was like that old Sonic cartoon. And I thought, yes, that's the way Sonic should be. Fun, inviting, comedic. Don't take it too seriously, it's just a cartoon hedgehog fighting a fat man. The reviews came in, 8s across the board, above average. We are close to 9 out of 10. Sonic, my man, you did it! You bounced back from the grave. All my friends are playing your newest game, and even those older fans who always judged the kids who grew up with the adventure games were playing Colors too. It's almost as if the Sonic fan community came together. It was a wonderful time to be a Sonic fan. But where do we go from here? What's next? Please, Sega, make a game just like this, except even better. Dude, another playable character. You got Sonic's controls down pat. It's time to bring in another character again and refine them. Oh, wait. The anniversary's coming up. Ugh. The last anniversary we got Sonic 06. That nearly killed the entire franchise. Before that, the 10th anniversary brought us Sonic Adventure 2. It divided the fandom, and to this day, people still don't know if it's good or bad. Sega, please don't let us down. Sonic's acting like himself again, I think. What are you gonna do this time? A few days after my birthday, a Sonic trailer came out for a new game. Sonic Generations? What? Okay, let's watch it. Ooh, nice logo. Hey, there's Sonic. Oh, he's animated just as great as last time. Is that Green Hill? Why is it so desolate? And why is the tall, lanky Sonic in the old Green Hill? What's up ahead of him that he's... Ah! No way! No way! Holy crap! The original Sonic in 3D! A classic Sonic next to a new Sonic, modern Sonic! So many toys and collectibles on store shelves. So many commercials playing, not just on Nickelodeon, but Fox during The Simpsons. Older people, who possibly grew up with Sonic and forgot about him, now know Sonic again. He's back. The most iconic levels in Sonic's history are here, remade and reworked. And the graphics, oh, they're beautiful. Admittedly, the story isn't too great, but that's okay. It's an anniversary game and we all know what happened with the last one. Play it safe, Sega, we understand. Modern Sonic plays just like he did in Unleashed in colors, but this time even better. He controls smoother, he's even faster, his boost feels so awesome, and now there's a drift. In classic Sonic, even better than Sonic 4. Plus, it's classic Sonic. He's so cute, animated so well. The whole fan base can come together and enjoy this. Sega was finally referencing the old games. Green Hill was back. They listened to the fans and made Sonic have black eyes and a big belly again, just for the fans. So if they didn't like this modern Sonic, they would forever have this. This was it. 2011, the 20th anniversary. It genuinely really felt like the best time to be a Sonic fan. This game did so well, more toys were made. New shirts, new collectibles. Sonic X aired even more on Saturday mornings, and Disney XD got the rights to air Sonic Underground, a classic Sonic show. Classic and modern Sonic could now live in unison. This was a dream, and the game's review was... What? Really? Come on, it's better than that. You were gonna say that this game is just fine? It's fantastic! I don't see any glitches. Classic Sonic's back. This is exactly what you critics wanted, and you still don't like it? Whatever. Who cares what you think? I'm a true fan, and I say this game is awesome. But Sonic Generations came and went, as all things do. The winter holiday season passed. What's next for Sonic? Oh, right, there was that racing game. No, you're making another one. Okay, cool. The first one was nice, so sure, I bet a lot of people will buy this one too. More characters, new tracks, awesome music, as always, and the vehicles can change depending on the terrain. Alright, pretty cool. Oh, look, you even got some promotions going on. You got Wreck-It Ralph. Oh, that's right, yeah, Sonic was in the movie Wreck-It Ralph. Dude, seeing Sonic on the big screen, he did it. He made it to the place every mascot wants to go. Sure, it wasn't his movie, but just seeing him there, oh my god. So that's fine. Heavy from Team Fortress 2? Sure, why not? If you got my Call of Duty friends playing Sonic, I'm sure those Team Fortress fans will play Sonic too. More people playing, the better. Oh, and look, you even got Danica Patrick. Oh, I see. During a race, there was a Sonic racing car. His image slapped on the side of a car like an M&M or something. Okay, well, brand recognition, not bad, really cool. Okay, not exactly what I wanted after Generations, but that was a big game. Sega needs time to settle for a bit, and they worked really hard. After all, it's best to play it safe. Because ever since we did that, the games have been really nice. I'm enjoying it. Okay, sure, I'll play this game, and my sale will count as a way for Sega to make more money and use that income to make a next true Sonic game. Oh, right, Sonic 4, the game that started this uphill climb for Sonic. Awesome. Oh, and dude, Tails is back? You can play as him? The level design looks way better. The graphics got a huge improvement. Man, Sega is really listening to the critics and the fans. But oh, it's just 4 stages again. And the levels are still just remakes of old levels. Well, they had their spin on it, less copying and more expanding upon. Sonic 4 gave us copy levels, Generations gave us full-on remakes. It's natural that this one expands upon the levels. And to be fair, Sonic controls a lot better in this one than he did in the first one. I swear he's faster too. Less buggy and glitchy. But it's kinda short. But hey, I'd rather have a good short game than a bad long one. It's good to see Sonic 4 back again. I really enjoyed this one. But come on, it's time. It's time Sonic has a brand new, true Sonic game. So let's push those boundaries, Sega. Let's do something unique again. You mastered how Sonic controls now, how his game should feel and look. He's a mascot. He got in the Macy's parade. He got on a car. He got on the big screen. You did it. Sonic is mainstream again. And it's great. Oh, the reviews came in. Well, okay, well, it's not a big console game. You know what? This is fine. Because I know Sega is cooking up something awesome. This is fine. Mobile game. What happened to a new console game? Well, to be fair, Sonic is a mascot now, and every mascot has that endless runner iPhone game, so okay. Harmless. I played this one so much, I seriously liked it. Gotta get that brand recognition. But come on, let's push the envelope, Sega, because this is fine. When I first saw the trailer, I was really interested. Sonic's back in Green Hill, the cute woodland animals are back, and the new villains look like they mean business. Eggman's been the villain the last couple games. It's okay to change the villain sometimes. But that wasn't the only change. The boost formula, the gameplay style Sega had made better and better with every game, is gone. Instead he has, well, I don't want to say adventure controls because it's not, but he can move around in 3D like a normal mascot platformer. Like, like Mario in Mario Galaxy. Actually, his world is like Mario Galaxy. But hey, Green Hill is back. Can't go wrong with Green Hill. But we have Jungle World, Sand World, Sky World, Fire World, kinda like Mario. Hey, but the music, it's fantastic as always, but well, it doesn't sound like Sonic music. That's not even to say it's bad. But there's a lack of that electric guitar, or that cool opening song. It kinda sounds like Mario. Huh. Well, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Sonic isn't totally copying, he's got this new parkour move. That's sick, that's modern, people are doing that stuff back in 2013. It's a bit hard to control though. And the gameplay? Sonic has a run button now. But not to be like Mario, no, instead, this is just so gamers can control Sonic better. Us Sonic fans know how to control Sonic just fine. But bear in mind all these new kids playing who are used to playing games like Mario. Oh. But this game looks and controls like a dream. I didn't encounter a single glitch. Sega's not the Sega they were in the 2000s. This is the most structurally sound Sonic game I've ever played. Now people will stop making jokes about bad, glitchy Sonic games. Sonic has looked the same for years now, so people will stop making jokes about how Sonic has no identity and constantly changes. I gotta admit, this game was not my favorite. But not every game will knock it out of the park. I'd rather have a game that plays it safe than a messy, broken game that's too ambitious. Oh look, the reviews came in. Well, looks like Sega knocked it out of the park again because they got... Ooh. Oh. Yikes, what happened? The game is not glitchy at all, it's not hard to control. Sonic's stupid friends aren't here. It looks like a classic game in 3D. Isn't this what the critics wanted? I think I'll let this one sit on a shelf for a bit. Okay, so it's a bit of a blunder, but by no means do I think it's bad. Sega just worked so hard to build and maintain Sonic's image, I'm kinda shocked they changed his gameplay style so soon. Was this the time to do it? Now? Well, the next game will either be better, or they'll do the boost again. Sonic is always trying new things. Well, he used to. You know what, I'll just wait for the next game. That'll be the one. Hey! Are you ready for the boom?
Hey, look, I turned it into no. Hi.
Are you ready for the boom?
Get out of here.
Are you ready for the boom?
I'm ready for the boom.
He's ready for the boom. Are you ready for the boom? Rolling around at the speed of sound. That was actual footage of me when I was 15 years old, going around my school asking my friends if they were excited for Sonic Boom. And it was sincere. It wasn't a joke or a meme. The last few years, as I grew as a person, Sonic was kinda growing too. The thing that I was bullied for liking all throughout elementary school was now something great that everyone knew. This was high school though. It wasn't an easy time. I thought my life was going up, but it was kinda going downhill it seemed. Things got harder and tougher. I didn't feel like my best self. And at the same time that I had fallen, Sonic was down too. Sonic was hurt. He was down and out. Sega, after spending all this time, all this money, all this effort to build and maintain a brand, threw it all away. But this was new. From the very first teaser poster showing the redesign, to the announcement of a new cartoon, to gameplay footage being shown as the months went by, it was different. But the last few years of Sonic, well, it was starting to bore me. Sega was playing it too safe. It was time for something new, but this new? Hey, fair enough, Sega was always ambitious, going back to their days in the 90s. I loved that Sega. So, Sega made so much money, had so much success these last few years, that they had the money to put into a new Sonic. A new, ambitious Sonic. He looked different, but the philosophy for a mascot was still there. New toy line, new TV show, new games, fast food tie-in products, full force, full marketing campaign. Whatever this new Sonic was going to be, he was going to be everywhere. And everywhere he was. They did it again. They really managed to do it again. They killed Sonic. Again. This was worse than Sonic 06. Sonic 06 had passion. Sonic Boom seemed to be unsure of itself. It had a comedic cartoon, had a game that kinda took itself kinda seriously. It had a lot of toys that weren't very good. And everyone who finally learned what Sonic was because of the last few years of success saw this Sonic. Everyone did. It was all over social media. The game came out. It was horrendous. It was so buggy that it needed a patch to even function properly. It was so bad the graphics sucked. The characters were annoying. Sonic's dumb friends were back. Now I understand why people wanted them gone. All over YouTube, people with large followings were exploiting this game for how bad it was. And those large followings believed it. 'Cause it was true. This funny man on the internet said something and it turned out to be true. But that funny man also said Sonic was never good. And then reviewers said that.
When are you guys gonna play a good Sonic game for once? They don't exist!
I think we're... Okay.
I think we're at the
Real
point
talk.
where we need to admit that this was never really a great franchise, and that we keep trying to find this thing that was never really actually there.
Sonic was never good.
And then, well, if what they had said was true before, this had to be true too, right? Was Sonic ever good? The last few years in hindsight, I realized that every game that came out, I said was fine. Not awesome, not amazing, no 10 out of 10s or even 9s out of 10s. The games were just fine. They didn't do anything new, they just survived off of what worked in the past. And now that I'm older, I can see that. Now that I'm older, I can look at those old games differently. More experienced, more understanding of what worked and what didn't. Sonic the Hedgehog died. He actually died. The toys sat on shelves and no one bought them. The games were horrible. The show, Cartoon Network stopped airing it and would only air it at like 6 in the morning on Saturdays. The internet mocked Sonic. The fans mocked Sonic. Sonic mocked Sonic. Sonic 06 may have nearly destroyed the franchise, but Sonic came back. He kinda died, but he came back. But Sonic Boom took every single thing that made Sonic Sonic and disposed of it. His character, his identity, his design, his silhouette, the quality of the games, the essence of the franchise, the foundation of its history. Everything was thrown away. In 2014, Sonic the Hedgehog died. Nothing. Like an actual dead person, there was nothing to do. They were dead. You didn't hear their voice anymore. You didn't see them all the time. The only way we could see Sonic was through new toys and games. There were no new toys, just repaints of older ones. There were no new games. Not a single one. Oh sure, ooh yay, a sequel, whatever. Sonic wasn't on the side of race cars anymore. He wasn't on the big screen anymore. Finding him on store shelves began to get difficult. He wasn't on your newest console. He wasn't on Cartoon Network anymore. They threw him to their side channel, Boomerang. Nothing new happened. There was no future, because with life comes death. And Sonic died. The only way to carry on the essence of someone who's passed is to continue to love them through the memories you made with them. Oh, I made some memories with Sonic. Some great memories. Good memories, very good times. Lots of laughs. Lots of smiles. But he was gone. So what were Sega and Sonic doing during this time? Well, the social media had nothing to promote, so they just made memes, making fun of the character, making jokes about past games, bringing all the negativity back. Sega, they lost. They lost a lot of money. They had to fire hundreds. They had to restructure. They had nothing. Their pachinko machines in Japan and the Yakuza series. That was kinda it. There was nothing more to say. And so, I moved on. I loved Sonic. I held it in my heart. I told friends about Sonic and how much I loved the old games, but he was dead. There was nothing new to play. So during this time, I rediscovered Sega. And I fell in love. I understand what made Sega games so good, so unique. I began collecting their consoles. I was holding on to the past, but I had just discovered it too. I had like a 30-year backlog of games to try out, franchises to learn about, characters to fall in love with, and it made me realize Sonic may be gone, But there's a bit of Sonic in all these Sega games. That love, dedication, ingenuity, ambition. It all made sense. There was a reason that these games I played may not have had remakes or sequels, but were still valued and just as revered today as they were then. They were game changers. This was a Sega game, and that was Sonic. That's what Sonic was all about. Pushing the envelope, having a crazy idea and just rushing headfirst into it, not thinking about the consequences, but only the potential for success. And even if you failed, you and the die-hard fans would always be able to sift through the failure and find something admirable. The Sega Saturn, released too soon without enough marketing in the US and lacked a Sonic game. It failed. At face value, if you look into it, you'll see that it was an RPG machine and gave life to a franchise that changed me as an artist. The Dreamcast, Sega's swan song. Lots of love and care put into the machine, knowing full well that the image of Sega was battered and beaten. There was no guarantee of success with this console. And it failed. But it's my favorite console of all time. It had some of the best games I think I have ever played in my life. Sonic was not about playing it safe. Sonic was not about being a mascot to be compared to an M&M. Sonic was not Mario. And from the very beginning, he never wanted to be. I get it now. It makes sense now. So if I can understand this, and if fans begin to understand this, we all came together and mutually agreed that, despite our differences, this was not fine. Two games. Modern, classic. Sega admitted defeat. Perhaps after all this time, they forgot who they were. Forgot who Sonic was. What made Sonic, Sonic? Fans jumped on board. Because we never forgot. And if some of us did, we acknowledged it. Sega was going to refine Sonic once more. We need new toys. We need new strange marketing. We need a new game. You missed his anniversary. Both games you had planned to release for his 25th were not ready. And you stepped up, Sega, and you said, "We've done this before. We are not going to make the same mistake again." So you didn't rush. You took your time, and you told the fans to take their time. The entire internet was watching with interest. The naysayers waiting for Sega to mess up so they could have another piece of evidence to claim Sonic can never be and never was good. And the fans, with fingers crossed, hoping to have evidence to show those naysayers that they were wrong all along. Holding out for a game they desperately needed. Sonic was taken out of his casket because turned out he was buried alive. Oops. But wait, wasn't he dead? I don't know. We need to see. Sega needs to show us. Sonic Mania comes close to release. I was too skeptical to get hyped, but the game was 3 months away. All of a sudden, I watched the announcement trailer again, saw the live reaction, and I almost teared up. This wasn't modern Sonic. This wasn't the Sonic I grew up with, but it wasn't Boom Sonic. It was the original Sonic. The Sonic that started it all. Bursting with life from the animations to the shiny sprites and all the positivity surrounding the game. I buckled. I pre-ordered. I got a Sonic statue. When the game came out, I brought people together for what I called Mania Night. Sonic had just enough left in him to celebrate. I decorated my room with Sonic memorabilia. We all took turns playing the game. I did a live unboxing of the statue. Sonic was back. He lived. But he was injured. He was relying on his past, playing it just a bit too safe. He got reviewed again. What a lovely score. So close to perfection. This is not fine, because this was just the first step. There is no time to play it safe anymore. We need new, and we need it now. I played Sonic Forces when it came out and beat it a week later. I played a few stages after that, and have not touched the game since. We took a few steps back, in a good way and a bad. Sonic was never Mario, so forget the gameplay from Lost World. The boost is back. But It's shallow. Instead of having any of the refined beauty of the boost from Generations, it seems to just be a boost. Something that propels you forward that has no bearing on the level design. A new story, a new villain, a darker approach, the stakes are higher. But classic Sonic's here. He controls worse than he did in Generations, worse than in Sonic 4. And with Mania releasing so soon before Forces, it only made these issues worse. Sonic Forces came and went. It was reviewed. It was fine. People say that the 2000s were Sonic's worst years, the Dark Age. Game review scores got lower and lower until rock bottom, but the exact same thing happened in the next decade, the 2010s. In the 2010s, Sonic was refined to be a simple little mascot and nothing more. The decade began with promise. It began with love, with rejuvenation. In the middle of the decade, just like the decade before, Sonic died. Again. The last half of the 2000s was Sega throwing things at the wall and seeing what would stick. It was messy. The last half of the 2010s were absolutely silent. There was fear and rejuvenation. Not really. In the early 2010s, Sega did exactly what Sonic needed. Played it safe, played it cool, and made people remember why they loved Sonic. They gave the fans a Sonic ice cream. Ice cream tastes great. And ice cream, just like Sonic in the 2010s, was soft, smooth, and refined. But if you eat too much ice cream, you get a stomachache. If you keep eating the same ice cream, the same flavor, the same green hill, the same gameplay, you get tired of it. You don't want to eat it anymore. You either want a different flavored ice cream or a different food altogether. The decade ended exactly as it began. Playing it safe. Playing it cool. Good reviews, toys, cartoons. Besides that horrible bump in the middle that did alter the franchise forever. In the 2010s, Sonic was fine. So which decade was the Dark Age? Honestly, which one was it? Well, that's easy given what I just talked about. The Dark Age of Sonic was the late 90s. 3 to 4 years of complete silence. No new game worth talking about. Re-releases. Cancelled project. Old reruns of a show from 4 years prior. No toys. No ambition. Not playing it safe. Just completely gone. Out of the public eye. Out of the gamer's eye. A Dark Age does not mean an onslaught of negatives. It means a time where things were bleak. Dark. The future was hard to see. In the 2000s, while Sonic was doing a lot of weird stuff, Sonic X was still on TV, toys were still found, the classic games were ported, comics were made. Games came out every year. Not always successful, but still there. In the 2010s, Sonic played it safe, tried to be too ambitious, and played it safe again. For only a year and a half in the 2010s, Sonic was silent and absent. For 4 years in the late 90s, Sonic was gone, except for a comic book and some games literally only Sonic fans would play, which were just spin-offs and re-releases. The point I'm making here is that Sonic was always good. If he wasn't, he wouldn't be here now. There is something about him that fans love and haters secretly like but will never say. Sonic has survived so much. A lot can change in 10 years. Who knows what the 2020s will bring? Sonic is in the public eye now more than ever, and everyone loves him right now because of the movie. Being a Sonic fan is like playing Green Hill. There are lots of twists and turns, and the path is never smooth. There are bumps. There are declines. But there are moments of anticipation, amazement, and sincere fun. So right now, as Sonic stands right now, things are fine. So let's make them better.